Hi, Creekside Cougars. It's Mrs. Sherry, and I am with Maddie and Drew. These are my two kiddos, two of the four. And we thought we would do a science experiment with you today. Maybe you're bored, maybe you're stuck at home and you're tired of being stuck at home. So this is something you could do. Most people would have these ingredients at their house, but you need to make sure that you have a grown-up to help you and that you have a grown-up's permission. Please do not do this on your own without somebody knowing what you're doing. This is called elephant toothpaste. It's really cool. I've done it with Maddie's class before, and I've done it with Drew's class before, and it's pretty fun. So we're gonna try that today. Don't mind the paint on my shirt. We've been painting at our house, so we're kind of messy right now. So what we're looking at during this experiment are a couple different things. So I made this little sign, and obviously it's backwards for all of you, but this says exothermic reaction, which is a reaction that makes heat. And then it says catalyst, which is something that acts as a helper. So we're gonna make elephant toothpaste. We're gonna make an exothermic reaction. So it's gonna get a little bit warm. And then we're using a catalyst. The yeast is a catalyst, and it's kind of like a helper in the experiment. First thing we're gonna talk about is what you need to do the experiment. You need a recycled water bottle or Gatorade bottle, something clear. This is like a sparkling ice water bottle. You need some kind of dish or pan so that when you create the experiment, it has someplace to go so you don't make a huge mess. You need a couple measuring cups. I have this one. It needs to be at least half a cup. You need food coloring. We chose blue this time. You need a package of yeast, one of these little packages of yeast. You need 3 tablespoons of warm water, and it needs to be in a dish that you can mix the yeast in with, so it needs to be big enough for that. You need hydrogen peroxide. So hydrogen peroxide can be irritating to your skin. It's not terrible, but depending on the percentage of hydrogen peroxide that you use. So you may want to wear gloves or let a grown-up do this part. Do not get it in your eyes. That would hurt. So just make sure a grown-up helps you with the peroxide part. The other thing you need is dish soap. This is just generic dish soap, just like Dawn, and we're just gonna use 3 tablespoons of that. So if you need the exact ingredients again, we're using a recycled water bottle, we're using some food coloring, we're using a packet of yeast, we're using 3 tablespoons of warm water to mix with the yeast, we're using half a cup of peroxide, and then we're using a little bit of dish soap to create our elephant toothpaste. All right, so here we go. The first thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna have Maddie mix the yeast with the warm water while we start the next part. I'm gonna have Drew put the food coloring into the bottle. He's just gonna put like 4 or 5 drops of food coloring in here. And make sure your recycled bottle is clean. You don't want other stuff in there. Perfect, thank you, Drew. That's good, bud. Okay, and then we're gonna put in half a cup of hydrogen peroxide. So there are 8 ounces in a cup. Here's the measuring part. So half a cup would be 4 ounces because half of 8 is 4. So we're gonna pour the peroxide into this until it gets to the 4 ounce mark. We're almost there. Okay, so half a cup, 4 ounces of hydrogen peroxide. I'm gonna use a funnel to help me get the liquid in. If you don't have a funnel, it's fine. Just be really careful when you pour. I'm gonna pour the peroxide into the bottle and you'll see that blue liquid come out. Pretty cool. The next thing we're going to add, now the experiment says a tablespoon. I'm not gonna measure this out exactly. I'm just gonna pour some dish soap into their bottle so that it will help with the reaction. All right, so far Maddie is mixing the yeast with the warm water. Drew and I worked on the food coloring, the peroxide, and the dish soap. So all of our ingredients are ready to go. The reaction's going to occur when we take the yeast water and we pour it into this bottle with all of our other ingredients. That's where we're gonna see the reaction. And you're gonna see an exothermic reaction because it's going to be warm, and the yeast, this little packet of yeast, that's the catalyst. So it's gonna be the helper in the experiment, and you'll see why in just a second. So I think we're ready to go. Maddie's got that all mixed. hopefully you can see, we're gonna pour in the yeast water into the bottle. And you'll see it's starting to foam. Here it goes, here it goes, here it goes. Oh, don't mind our cat, don't mind our cat. And it's foaming, it's foaming, it's foaming, it's foaming. So cool. So if Maddie and Drew kind of put their hands near that, go ahead guys, you don't have to touch it, but you can kind of feel it's warm, it's giving off heat. So that's what makes it an exothermic reaction. And all this, it can't really hurt you, it's got peroxide in it, you don't want to put it in your mouth. But the foam, these little tiny foam bubbles have oxygen in them, and the yeast is trying to get that oxygen out, and it's doing it really quickly, which is why it creates so many foam bubbles. So that's really cool. So that's our experiment today, elephant toothpaste. So I know we're all stuck at home. We're trying to get through this time. We're trying to be healthy. We're trying to keep everybody safe and healthy in our community. But I know that that can be really boring if you're stuck at home for a long time. So if you have these ingredients at your house, if your grown-up says it's okay, then feel free to do our experiment. We found it on scholastic.com. You can just type in elephant toothpaste and it should come up with lots of other experiments too. Hope you guys are having a good day. I miss seeing you in person. Say bye, Drew.
Bye.
Say bye, Maddie.
Bye.
Bye.